The man squeezed the plastic explosives into small pieces and placed them next to the circuit board, then carefully attached the timer and detonator. The 300 grams of Semtex explosives were enough to blow a large hole in the airplane's fuselage. Once the explosives were in place, it looked like just an ordinary Toshiba tape recorder on the outside. He then placed the tape recorder inside a suitcase full of clothes. Afterward, he took the suitcase to the airport. Today, airport security was particularly strict, with several times more police than usual. The man happened to arrive on a day when luggage was being randomly inspected, and the staff began checking his suitcase. While asking questions, the staff went through the suitcase, which contained nothing but clothes and a Toshiba tape recorder. The man calmly watched as the staff member picked up the recorder, shook it, and didn't notice the explosives inside. The staff member casually asked a few more questions before placing the recorder back in the suitcase. Assuming there were no dangerous or prohibited items, the man casually handed the suitcase over to the check-in attendant. He watched as the suitcase was sent onto the conveyor belt, letting out a sigh of relief. The bomb had been smuggled onto the plane without anyone noticing. The man also boarded the plane, accompanied by the ticking of the timer. The woman woke up from a nightmare, realizing that the events in the dream were the real-life Lockerbie bombing. The Lockerbie bombing was the deadliest terrorist attack in aviation history, with all 259 passengers on board killed, and 11 people on the ground also dying. The victims' families elected Dr. Jim as their spokesperson, determined to uncover the truth. Jim discovered that lax security at the airline was the main reason the bomb was smuggled onto the plane. But higher-ups were unresponsive and continued to shift the blame. To prove his point, Jim recreated a similar bomb disguised as a loaf of bread and took a flight on the same route. He easily smuggled the bomb onto the plane. When Jim woke up from his sleep, the plane had already reached its destination. Despite the seemingly strict security checks, no one had noticed that a loaf of bread bomb had been smuggled aboard. Jim calmly walked through customs with his suitcase, and even the trained police dogs failed to detect the anomaly. After completing the experiment, Jim presented the tape recorder bomb to the victims' families. He had gone through 3 security checks before reaching his destination, yet no one had noticed he was carrying the bomb. If the tape recorder had contained a real bomb instead of a loaf of bread, another tragic air disaster could have occurred.